Sisters and brothers, grace be unto you and peace from God our Father and our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. Peace I leave with you, my peace I give to you. I wonder when peace became a dirty word. I heard one of the talk show hosts one time accuse anybody who talked about peace as being a traitor, unpatriotic, and an idiot. Maybe I missed something, being born in 1949, but I thought throughout the whole Second World War, people were praying for peace. I thought that was the whole point of it. I read the letters between my mother and my father before they were married while he was in the Navy, and they were overjoyed when peace finally arrived. When did that change? Now, I'm not naive enough to think that we can get by in this world without the use of force. I mean, there's a lot of bad guys that have to be restrained, so we need police, and we need other law enforcement agencies, we need the military to keep stability. God bless those who serve in those occupations. God bless those who gave their lives for that peace. Don't people want that anymore? Well, having negative thoughts about peace is nothing new. Jesus is the Prince of Peace, and what's the first thing that happens when he's born? King Herod tries to kill him. Or you look at the dramatic shift among the crowds between Palm Sunday when they're shouting Hosanna and Good Friday when it's crucify him. And some scholars suggest that the issue here is that Jesus wasn't delivering what they thought they wanted. They were looking for somebody who was going to kick the Romans out, and instead they get this guy who talks about paying your taxes and blessed are the peacemakers. Peacemakers don't do well in our world. We know the stories of Gandhi and Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Peace. It's an odd word. It comes from Latin, pax, and reflects the Roman view of peace because pax meant coming into agreement with. And the Roman approach to coming to agreement with somebody was to send a few legions in, occupy the country, take over everything, and make you do things their way. That was peace. It wasn't peaceful for the people on the receiving end of this peace, however. They were upset with having somebody take everything away from them, and the result was more conflict than it was peace. It's a hard thing. I watch kids playing. I get more sermon material out of comic strips and watching children than I do out of all the theology I had in seminary. They come to a sandbox, okay? And they bring pails and shovels and toys and things like that. And for a while, everything goes fine. I mean, one kid uses the other one's dump truck, and one uses the pail. You know, everything's going okay. Sometimes even one of them takes a swig out of somebody else's juice box. Okay. Until Tommy wants Bobby's shovel, and Bobby doesn't want to give him his shovel, and then you have open conflict. That seems to be the root of the problem. If I have something you want and I won't give it to you, or you have something I want and you won't give it to me, then we have to have conflict. We have to somehow fight and battle with this stuff. Of course, we're grown-ups, so we don't have to do that kind of thing anymore. We have laws. And if you don't follow the law, we have police to enforce the law. And if they catch you, you go to jail. And that's about the best we ever get. That's very strange. The curious thing I've seen about adults, that I don't think I've noticed about children, but maybe somebody can correct me, is that adults seem to be very much concerned about what other people have, even if they don't want what they have. They're concerned about what other people are doing, even when what they're doing doesn't affect them in any way. I live in Ocala, and a few years back, we had constant conflicts about what books were allowed to be in the library. It started up again. We started again with people writing letters to the editor. Oh, take this book out. It reminds me of this lady in Georgia who was sued in just about every kind of court to have Harry Potter books taken out of the library. Mind you, she hadn't read any of them, but when did facts ever have to do anything with it? I don't know, maybe things are better today. In the old days, if you didn't like what somebody else did, you took care of it yourself. lived in Wisconsin, and people up there remember during the First World War how somebody burned down the Lutheran school because they taught in German, and we're going to teach those warmongers something about peace. I don't know. It's not unusual to find all kinds of laws to force somebody else's opinion upon what's right on somebody else to make sure they're doing it right. There are lots of communities that have laws against the sale of alcohol. Some places forbid bowling, I've discovered. Also playing pinball. Dancing on Sunday is outlawed in some places. Dancing with your hat out is outlawed in one place. Singing in public while wearing a swimsuit is also against the law somewhere, as is using the speed dial button on a telephone. My favorite law comes from Bernards Township, New Jersey, where it's illegal to frown. This kind of stuff is funny, but it does reflect the strange behavior that we have, that we want to control other people and make them do things the way we want it to be done. So one way or another, peace involves controlling other people to make them do or not do something. And that shows why there's so little peace in the world, because it's awfully hard to make people do what you want to have done. And if that's what peace is about, we'll never achieve it. It's not what Jesus is talking about at all. He says, peace I leave with you, my peace I give to you. I do not give to you as the world gives, not as the world gives. What Jesus means by peace is something very different from what we think. The word that Jesus probably used for peace was shalom, the Aramaic equivalent of the Hebrew shalom. And that doesn't indeed mean peace or harmony among people, but it also has the sense of wholeness, of well-being, of a condition within a person. That kind of peace can never be had if it always depends on somebody else to provide it. So many people want others to be controlled by them, and they're unhappy because they can't make it happen. And that unhappiness lies in the desiring. It's not what the other person's doing, it's in my desire to have you do what I want you to do. The problem is internal, it's not out there. The lack of peace comes not because so-and-so is doing this or that, but because I cannot find contentment in my life, in myself. I used to go through this, and my last church was in Marion Oaks, the southern part of Marion County. We had a trash problem in Marion Oaks. Some of it was illegal dumping. There's a lot of empty sites, so trucks would come and dump stuff. Some of it was businesses who didn't bother to clean up anything. Some of it was just littering. So every session of the community association got into arguments about trash. People complained, and they demanded something would be done. And all the energy went into complaining and whining and griping and carrying on every single meeting. Those people did not have peace. And they would have told you, well, how can I have peace when there's all this trash around here? There's always going to be trash around. You're never going to have peace. And worse yet, all the energy you're putting into whining about it is making it all worse. The whole thing is the wrong way around. Peace has to exist within a person, not outside of them. I can only talk from my own experience, but I know that if I get tied up in knots about something, I will do something stupid to fix it. My solution, as you can tell, frequently is buying a bag of M&Ms and eating them all. That's not help. That's the wrong thing. If you don't have the sense of peace first, you do the wrong thing and everything gets worse. This sounds like trivial stuff. I mean, who cares about that? But Jesus makes a very profound promise. Peace I leave with you. I leave with you. My peace I give to you. It's something that the Lord grants to us. It's His gift, not something we do or get. As I've suggested, it's the desiring and the trying to get that keeps disturbing our peace. We're created in the image of God, in a harmonious, healthy well-being. In short, we're created in a sense of shalom, of peace. And if we break it, I just have to have a bite of that fruit God told me not to touch. That's everyone's story. We do things to damage the peace that's within us. And the only way to get it back is simply to accept as a free gift from God, a restoration of peace. And that's what Christ did for us. Restored the disrupted relationship between us and God and gave us back peace. Once again, human beings could live in the state they were made for. I know some people will start grumbling, well, if that's the case, if I've got all this peace, how come I don't feel it? Maybe I got left out. God didn't give me my share of peace. No, it's already there. God has already granted it. The problem is we don't want to let go of the stuff that distracts us and pulls away from peace. We hold on to things, we worry about them, we demand, and peace slips through our fingers. Yeah, but if only my children would, if my parents would, if the pastor would, if the president would, if the neighbors would, if you would, yeah. And as soon as you start that, there's no peace, because again, you're giving it back to somebody else. We worry about all this stuff. I love the story of Jesus with Mary and Martha, where Jesus says to Martha, you're worried and distracted about many things. There's need of only one thing. That one thing is Christ. Don't let your hearts be troubled, he cautions us. Don't let them be afraid. Don't work yourself into a frenzy about things that don't matter. A friend of mine, a kindergarten teacher, used to have a favorite saying, she says, about people who get upset. They major in minors. Yeah, they make important things that really don't matter. I catch myself doing this all the time. There are important things in life. Shelter, food, job, keeping safe. But many times we lose our sense of peace, of God's peace, over things that really don't matter. It is disappointing when the remote control doesn't work, but it's not the end of the world. It's bothersome when the waitress brings us white toast when we ask for whole wheat. But it's not a catastrophe. It's frustrating when there are only 2 open lines at Walmart and they have 26 lanes, but, that's just the way things are. Live with it. Most of the things that fracture our lives are not worth any energy fussing about. It's not worth losing the gift of peace because you missed a 7:10 pickup, or because your smartphone lost your favorite song. I'm not sure about this one, but even a 3-putt isn't worth it. Peace I leave with you. My peace I give to you. That's Jesus' declaration. That's the truth. We have been given peace. Despite the chaos around us, despite our inability to straighten everything out, we already have peace in Christ. Let that be enough. Let us live in that peace so that we might redirect our energies from worry and fear to doing those things which will spread peace in the world. Peace is not a bad word. It's a good word. It's God's word.